The day she stopped begging. A Novella Moon story. Moral: never sacrifice your self-respect just to keep someone. Maya had spent 7 years trying to convince one person that she was worth loving. That person was her husband. And on the night she finally stopped trying, he looked at her as if he had never seen her before. "Are you really leaving?" Daniel asked. Maya stood beside the bedroom door, holding a small suitcase. For a moment, she said nothing. Then she smiled sadly. "No, Daniel, I'm not leaving tonight." His face relaxed. "I'm leaving the woman I became because of you." And that was the moment everything changed. 7 years earlier, Maya had been a completely different woman. She was 26 when she met Daniel. She was working at a small publishing company, loved old books, drank too much coffee, and had a habit of writing little stories in a notebook whenever she felt inspired. Daniel was charming, confident, funny. He knew exactly what to say. When Maya talked, he listened. When she laughed, he watched her as if she were the most interesting person in the room. One evening, while they were walking home after dinner, Daniel stopped beneath a streetlight. "You know what I like about you?" he asked. Maya smiled. "What? You don't try to impress anyone." She laughed. "Is that a compliment?" "It is. I'll take it." Daniel looked at her. "Promise me you'll never change." Maya believed him. She really did. 6 months later, they got married. And for the first 2 years, Maya thought she had found the kind of love people wrote novels about. Then slowly, almost invisibly, things began to change. It started with small comments. "You're wearing that. Do you really want to go there? Why do you need to work? I earn enough. Your friends are a bad influence." At first, Maya ignored it. She told herself Daniel was just being protective. Then he began criticizing the things she loved. He laughed at her stories. "You still write those little things? They're just for fun." "Exactly. Just a hobby. Don't waste your time thinking you're some kind of writer." So Maya stopped writing. Then he complained about her friends. "They don't understand marriage." So Maya stopped meeting them. Then he started saying things about her appearance. "You used to take better care of yourself. Maybe lose a little weight. You'd look better if you dressed differently." So Maya changed the way she dressed. She changed her hair. She changed her routine. She changed almost everything. But somehow, Daniel was never satisfied. And Maya kept trying, because she believed love meant compromise. She didn't realize that compromise was supposed to work both ways. 3 years into the marriage, Maya received an email. It was from a publishing house. They had found one of her old stories online. They wanted to publish it. Maya stared at the screen for several minutes. Her heart raced. She hadn't written anything in years. But that old story had been written before she married Daniel. Before she stopped believing in herself. She printed the email and waited for him to come home. When Daniel arrived, she ran toward him. "Daniel, look." He barely glanced at the paper. "What is it?" "They want to publish my story." He looked at her. Then he laughed. Not a happy laugh. A mocking one. "Maya, you're serious?" "Yes. You're not actually going to do this, are you?" "Why not?" "Because we have a life." She stared at him. "It's just one story." "Exactly. And then what? You'll start thinking you're a writer. You'll spend hours doing something that doesn't pay enough." Maya's excitement disappeared. "But they liked it." Daniel sighed. "Maya, I'm trying to protect you from embarrassing yourself." That sentence stayed with her. "Protecting you." She declined the offer the next morning. She didn't tell Daniel. She didn't tell anyone. She simply closed the email and went back to being the woman he wanted. 2 years later, Daniel got a promotion. His salary doubled. His social circle changed. And Maya noticed something strange. The more successful Daniel became, the smaller he made her feel. At dinner parties, he introduced her as my wife. She stays home. Whenever Maya tried to join a conversation, Daniel interrupted her. Whenever she told a story, he corrected small details. Whenever someone complimented her, he changed the subject. One evening, after a dinner party, Maya finally said, "Why do you do that?" "Do what?" "You make me feel stupid in front of people." Daniel rolled his eyes. "You're being dramatic. I just want you to respect me." "I do respect you. Then why don't you treat me like you do?" He stared at her for a few seconds. Then he said something Maya would never forget. "Because someone has to keep you realistic." She went silent. That night, she looked at herself in the bathroom mirror. She barely recognized the woman staring back. Where had the confident girl gone? Where was the woman who used to write stories at midnight? Where was the woman who laughed loudly? Where was Maya? A few months later, Daniel started coming home late. Then very late. He became protective of his phone. He changed his password. He smiled at messages he wouldn't show Maya. She asked him once, "Is there someone else?" Daniel looked offended. "How could you accuse me of that? I just asked." "You've become paranoid." So Maya apologized. Again. She always apologized, even when she wasn't wrong. Then one Friday night, Daniel didn't come home at all. At 2:17 a.m., Maya heard the front door open. Daniel walked inside smelling of expensive perfume. Maya was sitting in the living room. "Where were you?" He looked at her. "Out." "With whom?" Daniel's expression changed. "Why does it matter?" "Because you're my husband." He laughed bitterly. "Here we go again. Daniel, I don't want to have this conversation." "Then give me a reason not to have it." He looked at her for a long moment. Then he said, "Maybe if you were more interesting, I wouldn't need to go looking for excitement somewhere else." Maya felt something inside her break. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly, like a glass falling onto a carpet. She didn't argue. She didn't cry. She simply stood up. "Good night, Daniel." He walked away. And for the first time, Maya didn't follow him. The next morning, Maya opened the drawer beside her bed. Inside was an old notebook. Her old notebook. The one she hadn't touched in years. She opened it. On the first page, she had written, "One day, I want to write stories that make people feel less alone." Maya read the sentence again. Then again. And suddenly she started crying. Not because she was sad. Because she remembered herself. That afternoon, she opened her laptop. She created a new document. And she began writing. Not about Daniel. Not about marriage. Not about heartbreak. She wrote about a woman who had spent years trying to become lovable enough for someone who had never intended to love her properly. The words came quickly. For the first time in years, Maya felt alive. Weeks passed. Daniel noticed the change. "You've been acting strange lately." "I've been busy." "Doing what?" "Writing." He laughed. "Writing again?" "Yes." "You really think this is going somewhere?" Maya looked at him. "I don't know." "Then why waste your time?" She smiled. "Because I enjoy it." Daniel stared at her. That answer bothered him. Because for years, Maya had needed his approval. Now she didn't. One evening, Daniel came home and placed a folder on the table. "What is that?" Maya asked. "Divorce papers." She froze. Daniel leaned back. "I think we've both known this marriage isn't working." Maya looked at the papers. Then she looked at him. "Is there someone else?" Daniel didn't answer. She understood. For a moment, she felt that old fear. The fear of being alone. The fear of starting over. The fear that perhaps Daniel had been right all along. Then she remembered something. She remembered the girl beneath the streetlight 7 years ago. The girl who had been told never to change. Maya smiled. "I'll sign them." Daniel looked surprised. "That easily?" Maya nodded. Yes. You're not going to fight for us. She looked at him quietly. I've been fighting for us for 7 years. Daniel had no answer. Maya picked up the papers. Then she walked into the bedroom. She packed one suitcase. Not because she had nowhere to go, but because she finally understood that staying somewhere you are constantly disrespected is not proof of love. Sometimes it's proof that you've forgotten your own worth. 3 months later, Maya's first book was published. It wasn't a bestseller. Not at first. Only a few hundred people bought it. But one night, she received an email from a woman named Sarah. The message said, I read your book after leaving a marriage that made me believe I wasn't good enough. Your story reminded me that I still have a life waiting for me. Maya read the email twice. Then she cried. She cried because she finally understood something. Her story had a purpose. Not because it became famous, but because it reached one person. And sometimes, changing one person's life is enough. A year later, Maya was sitting in a quiet cafe, writing her second book. She looked out the window. The city was glowing beneath the evening sky. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from Daniel. I heard about your book. Congratulations. Maya stared at the message. Then another one arrived. You seem happy. She thought for a moment before replying. I am. 3 simple words. She didn't explain. She didn't blame him. She didn't tell him everything she had learned. She didn't need to. Because healing doesn't always require an apology from the person who hurt you. Sometimes healing begins when you stop waiting for one. Maya put her phone away. She opened her notebook and continued writing. The moral: never sacrifice your self-respect just to keep someone. Love should make you feel safe, valued, and respected. Compromise is part of a healthy relationship, but losing your identity, your dreams, your friends, and your voice just to keep another person happy is not love. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't holding on. Sometimes it's letting go. And sometimes, the moment you stop begging someone to choose you is the moment you finally choose yourself. The end. Crescent Moon Novella Moon, where every story leaves a mark.